First jam of the day. Welcome to Guitar Paradiso. My name is Pete.
And I'm Paul.
Actually, this could be like half acoustic, half electric Paradiso, couldn't it?
It could be, yeah, because we have some interesting guitars
It could
today.
be big band Paradiso.
Jazz hands.
Thumb pick.
Right, so today we have some brand new guitars from Epiphone. Awesome guitars.
Wonderful.
I am particularly excited about this because I can totally see me having this at home.
Well, there you are then.
I can really see that sitting in the corner of my front room. So, I mean, the story of Epiphone. Epiphone's been going for a very, very long time.
Very long time.
So, I mean, the original guy was a Greek guy. He moved over to New York in the early part of the century.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of kids, settled down, came to Ellis Island, did the whole New York thing, the whole Italian sort of Greek thing. Hey, the whole Sopranos thing. And then as he got older and older, his son started to take over the business.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it became the Epiphone company. So
yeah.
Epi was his son's name.
Yeah.
This is a
great story, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's a lot of story with Epiphone as well.
What is this? So his son's name
been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his son was name began with Epi.
Yeah. Oh, was it Epi?
I think it was Epi.
Epi.
Yeah. Or certainly began with.
Oh, bless me.
And phone is the Greek word for sound.
Yeah. Great. Epiphone.
Yeah. So Epiphone. I mean, so that's where that's a very, very brief history of Epiphone.
But they've basically been going longer than a lot of other big manufacturers, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it was like 1828 or something.
Yeah.
In the mountains of Greece, where the guy was doing all the work, and obviously as his son took over, and it became the electric guitar, but the archtop guitar started to become much more prevalent. And the acoustic guitar, as opposed to the original sort of Greek instrument that he was making originally.
Yeah.
And then we end up in the big band era.
Big band.
30s,
you know.
30s, yeah, the jazz hands, that's also New York swing era, and the archtop guitars.
Yeah.
So the archtop guitars were designed to really be able to kick out and have a lot of punch, certainly in that mid-range for the big band sound.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of those guitar players who were really, back then there was no Marshall stacks, there was no real loud amplifiers. So
not really.
So they needed a guitar that could really project and punch out in the mid-range. So the archtop guitar. Now I believe that an archtop guitar has more tension on it.
Yeah.
So across those strings, so that's one of the things that makes that sound makes that soundboard vibrate more as well. It gives a very particular sound to big band style of things. I mean, so just awesomely cool guitars.
They are very, very cool. I mean, the design of them are they do take the design back from as they were in 1931 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they do 3 models in the Masterbilt, and it's funny when you look at Masterbilt, it's not spelled build. It's spelled built, isn't it?
Yeah.
Masterbilt,
and that's the way it was spelled originally, I believe, as well.
That's
exactly. Because this is a recreation of those.
These are completely recreations, of course, sort of brought into the 21st century with the Nanoflex HD pickups, on the saddle pickups with your little tone controls and.
So that's the E-Sonic preamp on there as well.
Yeah.
Both HD, so both high definition. Yeah. Everybody's high definition these days.
And 1080p, man, 4K. And they do 3 different models. So they do this is the entry level, you might say.
Yeah, so this is the Olympic.
Yeah.
I have to say, I think this, certainly as far as looks are concerned, this is my favourite guitar.
Yes, it's nice.
I love the F-fills on there.
Yeah.
I think all the guitars have got a floating bridge on there. Now that's not floating bridge like an Ibanez or a Floyd Rose style floating bridge. That just means that bridge is not actually fixed.
Exactly.
You've got the aged tailpiece on there as well.
Yeah.
Like it's a nickel tailpiece on there.
Yeah.
As you just said, we have the tone controls in here. So on the F-hole guitar, I have my tone and volume controls in the F-hole.
Yeah, and mine is up here. So they do both. So there's 3 different models. So there's the one you have here, the Olympic.
So we have the Olympic, and the Olympic's available in 2 colours.
Yeah.
So we have a cherry sunburst version of this.
Yes, honeyburst.
Honeyburst, sorry, my apologies.
And this is called violin burst.
Okay.
And I think that might be. It looks a bit like a violin, doesn't it? You know, that's sort of a big violin.
That's right. It's like a Tom and Jerry violin.
Tom and Jerry, I watched that for ages. Man,
you got to make sure you watch the old ones, though. You need to be watching the 50s ones, not the new ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then we have the Zenith.
The Zenith here.
The Zenith is available with the F-holes on.
Yeah.
But it's also available with the sound hole.
With the sound
as well.
hole.
Yeah.
So this is the specs of this is It's the spruce top, right?
Yeah, so all of these guitars are a solid spruce top.
Yeah.
This is laminated mahogany and maple.
Yeah.
You have there a flame maple.
Check this out.
Rather nice flame maple.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And it's got some bindings on it. So that's the entry level. Then you get up to the Zenith, which is this one. It's got a 5 sort of piece and maple neck and maple mahogany neck here. This is really amazingly good looking. Can you say that?
Yeah.
I sound like a Zoolander there. Really, really, really amazingly good looking. And vintage tuners.
Who's Zoolander?
Have you ever watched Zoolander? Oh, you have. I know you have. I've seen you do Blue Steel.
Yeah.
And if
vintage style tuners. But what's probably worth noting on the tuners is they've up-spec'd the ratio on those, just for more modern, more modern things.
Exactly. So they are kind of the guitars are brought into the 21st century as it were, with all these modern specs and. We've still got the narrow frets, but this is then a bigger box, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah. That's more of a typical sort of jazz arch style guitar.
I absolutely. I think this is a beautiful guitar.
You have also got the nicer inlays on there, or the fancier.
Yeah, the kind of falling kind of leaves
like
on there.
Falling leaves and sort of snowflakes on it.
And actually, you get in the case. So they don't come with cases, but they do come. You can get an optional Century spec case, but the guitars do come with the scratch plate, so you can have that on or not. I think you have to sort of drill it in, so I don't know if you want to do that, but you can. Anyway, that was in the box on this one anyway, so stunning guitar there. And then we go up to, again, F-holes or O-holes. You can get that one with. Then you go to the deluxe range. Again, 5-piece maple neck. They all got, you would think they would sit down back then, but, doing the big band there. All that sort of stuff. And funny, for the battery, so they've all been updated, haven't they? It's really cool. What is this kind of a sunburst? Beautiful sunburst finish.
And again,
we'll get a little look on the inside. Just the label looks authentic, doesn't it?
It does. Even I remember when I was a child, having an old guitar that my father had, and it had a really old style label in there. It was actually not a very nice guitar at all. Sorry, Dad. But yeah, that nice old style label in there as well. Yeah. Again, very Tom and Jerry. Very 30s New York.
Stunning. But I think we just need to sort of hear them. So what we've done is, we've got a couple of microphones on the front, some AKG 451C, 451, and then we've got an AER Compact 60, just to which we're going to take DI out, so you can hear the pickups inside, and then we've got Tone King Falcon, which is just because the guys like James Bay plays he's got an Epiphone Century, the Red 66 version, which they are also bringing back out again now. So that's coming out. I know he's got a P90 pickup in it and all that stuff. It's not like this sort of stuff. But we're going to try to hear it with the microphones, with the DI signal, and then just for a little laugh, just try to hear it what it sounds like. Because you can imagine you get to when did the first Fender amp come out? 54, 50 something?
Possibly earlier. It was probably before the guitars. I mean, you're probably like 40, 48, 49.
So anyway, the first, maybe even before that, there was an electric amp. I think 1990.
That's what he was doing.
1919, the first PA system was made, and it was like 25 watts. So I was trying to find out when the first PA system was made, because they would have mic'd these guitars up, and you look back in the 30s. There's a big band, and the woman in the beautiful dress have a microphone in front, so there would have been microphones,
Absolutely.
So anyway, let's get on with some tone for you guys, right?
We also have a range of distortion pedals.
Yeah, we've got a few bits and pieces just to see, because James Bay, when he played that, and it's got that sort of raspy sort of that sort of tone, If you can, now we're going to try to hear it here first. You're going to. It's not a big sound. It's not a big sound at all. You're just hearing the microphones in the room at the moment. It's not like you would say, it's an acoustic guitar. I'm going to go and do some. you know, even with the F-hole and that stuff, it must be the way that it's braced, because it's not an X-brace, is it?
No, it's not. That's the other thing on there. So so it's longitudinally braced.
Yes. So when you look in,
you have your brace, running from here up to here, beside the fingerboard here. So
yes, it's
very, very different from the X-braced, which I believe
that
came
was
from
18. Martin sort of, I think, perfected the X-bracing in the 1850s, which is a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts, isn't it? And that's in most guitars, most acoustic guitars today has got the X-bracing, and then, you know, whatever's in there.
But again, very different on these longitudinal,
exactly,
parallel bracing, it's been called as well.
Yeah,
on all of these guitars.
So that's why it gives you that sort of tone, and you know. Anyway, I've got a little nylon soft pick here because I think that would be what they were playing, maybe thumb, you know. So. There's not much sound. There really isn't much sound anyway. So that's that one there. Let me just quickly swap over to the because we'll go from up and then to down to the Zenith, which has got F holes. So play the same thing. Nice. You know, it is that kind of thing. I was watching some Chet Atkins last night, and I've never really played with a thumb pick before.
Me either.
But I thought maybe it would be a good thing to try on this occasion. So. I like this one. Oh, what is that? Something like that. Anyway, something. I really like that little riff there, and it makes it sounds right. You know what I mean? It sounds right. This is great. It has that original sound that you would sort of associate with a big band thing. Yeah. So that was just the two guitars, just room sound.
I love the headstock on those.
I know they're amazing, aren't they?
That's just such a
nice
headstock.
It's amazing. It's great.
It's
anyway,
crazy.
Let's hear that one. Just room sound.
So I'm not used to playing this style at all.
I know, I'm not either, man. Look at you heard me faff about with some thumb picks there.
Better than me, but I guess so.
Yeah, you know, all that sort of
all the 6 chords.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. But it's you know, it's nothing that, you know, there's a lot of, you know, we are not we don't play like that. So we are just here to kind of show you the guitars. I'm sure that this appeals to an audience that would absolutely make these guitars sing like you know.
Absolutely, or just do what I'm planning on doing. Get one of them.
Just going to sit at home
sit in the corner of the room.
But you know what? What we're going to do now is we're going to plug this one into the AER amp, just straight in. There's a little bit of reverb on the amp. We're running a DI signal out, and we have got it mic'd up as well. So we're just going to see how that works. So this is the tone from the Sonitone system pickup and the
Nanoflex.
Nanoflex.
Plug in the E-Sonic.
In the E-Sonic
preamp,
HD preamp in there.
Yeah.
see what I mean? That's where these guitars come to life. They come to life when you plug them in, and you can of course plug them into a PA. You can have a little acoustic amp like we have here, or you can have that. Let's just try it. Let's move on. So if you take this guitar now, because now I want to hear that guitar in there.
So the neck on this guitar does feel different. That's a big old neck.
Is it? I thought it was the same kind of. Just
feels different.
Yeah. But the box is different. So the box is bigger. I can't reach. The scale length all 25.5.
Okay.
They all have got clear tone 12 to 53 strings on it. So
it may just be me. It may be the binding. Maybe the binding on this one is
maybe just I think sometimes looks and how you feel stuff is like
absolutely, absolutely. It just feels
a bit deceiving.
Feels nice. Feels really nice.
Yeah, they're big chunky necks.
Feel big,
yeah. Let's have a listen.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful sound. It's a great sound, and it's not an acoustic sound, and it's not an electric sound. It's something in between, isn't it? Which I actually do like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely got its place. Okay, well then let's move on to the next.
Okay. Do you want to hear this through the AEO?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, I'm a player.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have a little twiddle.
I've exhausted all my pseudo jazz riffs now.
Right, so let's see if we can turn it up. So in here you've got a volume and you've got a tone. There we go. I think it needs a softer pick, to be honest with you. It's got... That's lovely.
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
I think that sounds great. If you're a singer-songwriter and you want to go out and have a bit of a different sound and just...
But that's where James Bay comes in, you know what I mean? Because he took the inspiration from that guitar, from that. He's got an original '66 Epiphone Century, which, and there is a video in where the captain meets James Bay, and we went in to see him, and he was talking about his guitar and how the guitars inspire him to play in a certain way and inspire him to write the songs, you know. So I think if you have guitars like this, they'll certainly happen, you know. You know, that you don't have to play that stuff on it. That's why I played the just a normal. So on, you know, and I think you get a different way of writing songs and creating music, which is very important, you know. This one is then also the biggest of them all, isn't it?
Yes.
I could feel that as soon as I sat down with it. My arm is like up here, like that. It was small. I've got short arms. So that's those. We should just get a case in really quick so we can actually see what that looks like. And I'll get that for you now. Here we go. See,
quick.
I got a case. I'm so quick, man. I'm lightning fast. So these are the Masterbilt Century Epiphone cases. Really nice. Don't know what it is made out of, but again, it's a massive case, as you can see. Yeah, but just a lovely case. Ta-da! And look, oh, that's really cool. I didn't notice that. Check that out. I don't know if you can see that here. It's a little E.
Oh.
Right? See? So you know, it's all sort of made, you know, really lovely. This is great. Right, let me just put this away by snapping my fingers. You ready? Hey! gone. Hey man, Matic. I love it.
Like a cartoon character.
Right, so
Tom and Jerry couldn't have done better themselves.
they couldn't have done better unless you light one of us on fire or something with a frying pan. I don't know. Something like that. Did I do that?
Play the guitar with with a moustache.
Oh man, I need to watch some Tom and Jerry now. Okay, so let's fast forward some years where you could pick up a proper tube amp and just see what happens when we plug that in. So I'm going to give you...
And it's probably worth noting that the original amps would have been very similar to this anyway, even though they maybe wanted a very clear and clean sound, they probably struggled,
That's correct.
It would have been a tube amp, it wouldn't have been an ultra loud digital amp or anything like that.
No, that doesn't feed back and all sorts of stuff. So
this would have been an original PA system.
It would have been, yeah, same
for harmonica.
I'm going to plug you in.
Okay.
And then we're going to see if we can make this thing sing some blues for us.
Okay. Very, very different sound.
It's very, very different sound, but it can be done. Let me just unplug you and plug me in here with the big guy with the O hole, and see what happens when we do that. So here we go. That's really nice, actually. I don't mind that at all. Let's just try to put I've got a T-Rex replica delay. If I do something like this. So you can hear that kind of sort of James Bay, almost. It's not. I'm not going to play anything James Bay, but those kind of. I don't know, something like that, kind of thing. Okay, here's a test. Let's try to put a Nobels overdrive on it.
I quite like that.
You quite like that? Let's try again. Something like that. Great. No, there's nothing wrong with that. If
and probably not too different from some of the sounds that some of the poorer guys back in the day probably had through their original little valve amplifiers, trying to get above those horn sounds.
I can imagine loads of them just had that terrible sound, actually.
Yeah, just plugged into radios and things.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah. Right, let's try this. The same thing. Let's see what happens when I just plug it into this amp. Ooh, I like that. Turn it up a bit. That's nice because I think
that's my guitar.
It kind of is that your guitar?
That's my guitar.
Oh, Lee, Captain Paul, need to speak to you on the phone. Right, so I definitely think that because it's a smaller box with the F-phones, that it doesn't get that sort of ringy tone. I can feel it kind of wants to feed back, but it's not doing it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just try the delay again.
Nice. Yeah, I love that, man.
I mean,
that's great.
I mean, that's great, isn't it? You know, great guitars.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done, Epiphone, Gibson, or whoever's making them now. No, it's great. So all the links on these guitars are below. These three are actually the first ones in the country, I believe. So
I believe so, yeah.
So we've had a little exclusive look at them now. Epiphone, Masterbilt, Century guitars.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well done. And you're going to get this one, aren't you? You might.
I've got to speak to Lee about that.
You have to speak to Lee about that. And they're actually quite affordable. I think they start about £440, £50.
40 or 50 pounds?
40 or 50. I'll take two.
Done.
Yeah. So about 400. Well, this one is 450 kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, at the moment. So that's great.
Cool.
Go and have a look at the links below. They go all the way up to like almost about 700 quid. And then of course, if you want to buy the case, that's a separate. I don't know how much that is, but check them out. They are on the link below. And also just to let you know that the guitar that James Bay is playing, the Epiphone Century 66, they are doing that in the red, so the wine sort of red. What is that called?
I haven't seen that.
And then in, I think, in a sunburst or a kind of a natural color, wood color. So they're coming out as well, and they're going to be about the same sort of price range. Which I think I might have to get one of those with the P90s in it, a special new design P90 pickup.
Yeah, and I mean that's ultimately where these guitars went, isn't it? That's what happened.
Yeah,
when people had to get louder.
Thin boxes.
The P90s. P90s went on
exactly.
those guitars there.
Lovely. Anyway,
yeah,
that was the Epiphones, new Epiphones, and my name's Pete,
and I'm Paul,
and we will see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.